China, the gateway to East Asia, is a fascinating country. It is an ancient civilization that gave the world Peking man, gunpowder, and noodles. Visitors making their first trip to China usually stick to the larger cities. More experienced visitors to the Middle Kingdom will strike out in other directions, where traveling may be a bit more frustrating because of the language barrier, but most definitely doable for independent travelers. Here's a look at the best places to visit in China. Number 10. Kunming. Kunming is the economic, transportation, industrial, and cultural center of southwest China. It is linked by rail from all of China's major cities, as well as with Vietnam. The mild climate makes it a good place to visit any time of the year. Largely because of the fine climate, flower growing is a major industry, and tourists can visit flower exhibits and auctions and a huge botanical garden. In addition to its own charms, Kunming serves as a base from which to explore the rainbow of ethnic minority in the area. Number 9. Chuchaigo. Chuchaigo Valley has been described as a fairyland because of its many waterfalls, snow-covered karst mountains, and its 108 blue, turquoise, and green-colored lakes that are so crystal clear one can see the bottoms. It is also the habitat of giant pandas, though the chances of seeing them are slim due to the park's size and the number of tourists. Number 8. Hangzhou. Famed for its natural scenery, Hangzhou and its West Lake have been immortalized by countless poets and artists. In the 13th century, Marco Polo described the city as the most beautiful and magnificent in the world. Hangzhou's most famous site, West Lake, is a large lake separated by causeways and lined with ancient buildings and gardens designed for relaxation and spirituality. Visitors will find pagodas, temples, walking paths, and tea farms along its shores. Number 7. Yangshuo. Yangshuo in South China was once a magnet for backpackers because of its cheap prices and laid-back atmosphere, but today it draws all sorts of travelers to enjoy its beautiful scenery and karst mountains. Yangshuo also makes a good base to take a day trip to Guilin for a leisurely trip on the Li River. Many travelers choose to rent bicycles for the trip back, since the route is relatively flat and gives them the opportunity to view farmers toiling in their fields. Number 6. Lhasa. Lhasa is the most important city in Tibet and one of the highest elevated in the world at 11,500 feet. Lhasa, in spite of its absorption into Greater China, has retained much of its culture. It is home to the Potala Palace, which was the former home of the Dalai Lama. The palace was constructed on the Red Hill more than 360 years ago. Another palace is Norbolinka, built in 1755. It was the Dalai Lama's summer palace before his exile. Number 5. Xi'an. Xi'an was once the start of the indispensable Silk Road that made commerce between many countries in Eurasia possible. It was also the imperial seat for no fewer than 11 dynasties before the unification of China between 1000 BC and 1000 AD. Its most famous attraction is the rather recently discovered Terracotta Army, the protectors of the tomb of the first emperor of China. Xi'an also boasts 14th century city walls that are more than 8 miles long. They are not only a part of the city history, but traveling in Xi'an sometimes requires going under, on, or around them. Number 4. Shanghai. Located on the East China Sea and the mouth of the Yangtze River, Shanghai is the largest city in China. Its skyline is filled with skyscrapers, while shiny shopping malls, luxurious hotels, and prestigious art centers are rising alongside. The city nights in Shanghai are representative of the Western view of China's cities, with bright neon signs, bustling streets, and numerous businesses. The most popular place to go for a stroll is the Bund, Shanghai's colonial riverfront along Huangpu River. While levees have significantly changed the Bund's appearance, a number of architecturally significant buildings are adjacent to the strip and are still visible. Number 3. Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is an assemblage of smaller walls built by various dynasties over many years. Builders erected these walls for protection from invasion by those from the north. The Great Wall itself measures approximately 5,500 miles in length, although some of the sections lie in ruin or have disappeared altogether. It is the longest man-made structure in the world. There are several sections of the Great Wall of China that visitors find interesting. Badaling is the most popular section of the wall, as it is the closest to Beijing and easy to climb. Number 2. Hong Kong. Located off China's southeastern coast, Hong Kong is a glittering, world-class commercial center where Chinese culture, British colonial
美国这个在美国活了，已经活了。哦，谢谢。Juju, just look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? 鸡蛋、葱、香菜。
还有
甜面酱, yeah. The eggs are just mixed in with the dough perfectly. Let's take our first bite. Cheers.
这香，一个是让你嚼着香。
我们吃嘛，尝一下。这个是米粉做的吗？
对，小米。
小米。哦。
哇。
哦。那个很香。很好吃的，
老板你太厉害了！
那个芝麻酱，特别好吃的。哇，
怎么会这么香
？It's very 香 ，a little salty。
对，有一点咸。
Yeah。
但它那个味道非常浓郁。
Oh, it's so powerful。
有一点点咸，但是因为芝麻它本身的味道非常非常香。所以这口吃下去是很纯的那个传统糕点，然后这个是驴打滚，这个是拿糯米做的，然后外面是花生、黄豆，然后还有可能有芝麻，然后和在一起的粉裹在外面，然后里面有红豆沙，这个很好吃，这是我吃过的，豌豆黄也吃过，但焦圈我也是第一次吃，一会儿我们可以试一下。
哦也太好了。然后，但是最重要，我们先要吃这个嘛。
我有一个不情之请，我们可不可以先吃这个？
OK。
我怕我先喝豆汁会死这儿。
来了。
很好吃。
It's like a。
心情好多了。
It's like an onion ring without the onion。
我们终于要吃了。
The stinky fermented 绿豆。
对，绿豆发酵了以后。
OK。It's not that bad. Come on. Get a big spoon.
Okay.
Okay. Cheers. 还可以。It's okay. It's okay. It's not that stinky. It smells worse than it is. There's a fermented green bean odor, but it also tastes a little burnt. Try it out. Try it out.
开玩笑吧，大哥。
Oh yeah, it's you try it. Come on. Come on.
相机跟它俩运动最
哦，太好了 ！Look at this， 谢谢。哦，很多内脏。Oh yeah, there's intestine. Looks like there's some lung, pita bread, and tofu in a rich organ broth. Oh, everything just looks so sloppy. The juices are just flying. The juices are just flying everywhere. And you can see he's just filling the bowl here with broth. Oh. Here comes the broth. That's gonna be rich.
5号凉菜。
Oh.
8号凉菜。
Nice. 谢谢你。
我们2碗。
Oh, that is beautiful.
哦，对对，我们。
Oh, you one. We're gonna share a bowl. 谢谢你。Okay.
去找张桌子。
Crazy in here. So busy. After picking up your Luju soup, you need to get your famous jajang noodles. Texture sliced, thick noodles served plain with an assortment of sliced cold veg and a specialty secret bean paste that gives the dish its backbone essential flavor. 太好了，哇，这个很漂亮。谢谢你。Okay, let's go find a seat. Oh! This just looks magnificent.
对，这就是正宗的
炸酱面。
然后每一个。
Oh, look at all these ingredients.
对对对，有很多。
都放在这个面上面。
对，都是它的配料。
这个是什么配料？
所以都是要放在炸酱面里的配料，所有东西都放在面里面拌在一起吃，所以炸酱面很好吃。这是黄瓜。
黄瓜。
豆芽。
豆芽。
芹菜丁。
芹菜。
芹 芹菜丁嘛，然后那个胡萝卜、
胡萝卜
啊
黄豆，然后这个是它的秘密。
对对对，这是我们的。
这个是北京炸酱面的酱，最重要的嘛。
对对对，最重要就是吃它。
Oh,
炸酱面嘛，炸酱就是它。
And then this is the 卤煮 all of the organs. Basically, 大肠、肺、豆腐 and more 饼 in the 很浓的很重要的汤 in the rich broth. Okay, this is just magnificent. So start with the 酱。
要先放所有的菜，要先放这些配菜，然后再把酱浇的配菜跟面上。
Okay. Oh yeah. 萝卜。That looks so beautiful.
芹菜丁。
That is the most beautiful, colorful bowl of noodles. And that's the real secret, the 酱 right? 这是用豆做的。
对，里面有豆瓣儿。
豆瓣儿。
但是不是辣的那种，只有豆瓣儿。
这是豆瓣儿。
咸的香的，然后里面有肉，看到吗？这个。
哦，猪肉。
辣的这个是猪肉块。
Oh yeah, nice. And then just mix it up. Yeah, that is just gonna be colorfully good. I think the real secret is gonna be that bean paste.
好像拌的时候那个香味就已经出来了，
Oh yeah, yeah.
酱的味道。
Oh, it's a thick bean paste, and my mouth is completely watering right now. Oh. Are you ready? Okay. Mmm. 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 That bean paste is magic. 有一点甜嘛，一点点。
那个酱里面有一点点甜，但是我觉得它更多的香的味道，酱的那个味道，香的味道，豆子，还有那猪肉。
It's like a perfect mix between salty and sweet. Oh, with nice bits of pork in there. Shall we try this? Oh, now this is 这个是他们的特色，对吗？
对，这个是这家店的特色。
This is their specialty.
也是北京的特色，只有北京有的很地道的地方小吃。
I'm gonna get a nice big one with a intestine and a lung. Can I get a triple combo? Intestine, lung, and pita. Cheers.
不错吧？那个汤的味道很浓，对不对
？Yeah. 很浓。
其实这些都不是肉，但是做出来那个汤一点也不比肉差。
Yeah, it's definitely strong. 很浓 and the organ flavor, the intestine flavor is overpowering. But if you like that, 如果你喜欢这个，肯定每天来吃这个。
对对对，而且这里附近的居民基本上每天都要过来。
It's actually really good.
它的那个饼，因为通过汤的浸泡，已经完全吸收了这个汤的味道，不软不硬，刚刚好。而且还很有浓浓那个汤的味道。
Oh, that was of the crispy, fatty duck sizzling in the wood oven. Watching the ducks being put in the oven and roast slowly over the wood flames, dripping fat and juices and rocking slowly back and forth is enough to make anyone hungry. When it's in front of your eyes, whether it's your first time or you're a Beijing duck addict, the excitement and anticipation is always the same. It's just that good.
选批。
对，然后那个鸭子，然后得从这鸭子出壳45天，然后就变成这样。
哇！
从小就开始甄选哪个适合吃，哪个不适合吃，是吗？
对，然后是填鸭嘛，填鸭它是根本不让你去让那个鸭子去活动的。这么大一块地儿，你说本来咱是放10只鸭子，这会儿就让它放20只到30只，不让它动，吃饱就让它在那站着，
特别
睡，
就让它养肉是吗？
对。
一只鸭子生来就为了被吃掉，
这个特别香的，
对对，
哇！
你外面是有刷什么香料吗？
我一看这个就很想吃这个。
这外面是有刷什么香料吗？它的皮为什么会很脆？
传统的东西，传统的都是咱们都是用那种糖水。
啊，糖水啊，在鸭子的外面会刷一层糖水。
哦，一点甜嘛。
对。
这个你做了很多年嘛？
对，
这个做了有20年吧。
20多年只做鸭子吗？
对。
哇，
他很专业。
This is just gonna be so good。
然后我们鸭子肯定会很好吃。
那我们去外面点一个嘛？点切很多鸭子嘛？
差不多。
每天大概多少只
？20-30个。
20-30个。
哦 ，Look at the bursting juice。 Look at the juice bursting.
是不是那些汁是不要的，是吧？要把它滤掉。
Oh, you can see.
很多油。
You can see the juice, the oil. Oh. Oh.
鸭腿肉，我觉得鸭腿肉也很好。
Yeah, that is
最好
gonna
吃
be.
的是胸上的皮，第二好吃的
Oh
应该
my
是鸭腿。一会儿我们尝一下。
That is gonna be legendary.
吃一片。
那个
味道。
味道
一直在扑面而来，
好像
一直在熏着你。
在天堂一样. This is really the best duck that you'll ever eat. And as you watch the chef slowly slicing it, it's pure excitement and anticipation for the best bite of duck that you'll ever eat. So we have a huge Beijing duck feast here today. He cut up a whole duck.
对，把整只鸭，然后一片一片的给你片整齐，放在盘子里，摆得非常漂亮，
Yeah.
变成各种形状，然后给你。
Final step before eating them. Some like to make them elegant, and others like to just stuff them full. I like to do the stuff it full technique. You can't go wrong with a mouthful of Beijing duck wrapped up with different sauces to choose from. Mmm.
啊，这个酱非常好吃，你一会儿一定要试一下。
Whoa.
我觉得它比传统的那个酱有一点果香味在里面，然后那个辣味基本上没有。
但是那个鸭子也 Whoa.
对，它不抢鸭子的香味。
The duck.
你觉得那个呢？
The duck is amazing. Solid 10 out of 10 on this one, guys. You'll enter duck heaven the first moment it hits your lips. And the flavor, there was actually a slight sweet wasabi mustard-like flavor in the sweet bean paste. So good. That was an amazing day. So much good food. Thank you, Choo Choo. That was a great time. And thank you for watching these food and trial videos again. Please leave us a thumbs up down below, a comment letting us know what you thought, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.
如果大家喜欢，也可以来这边尝试这边的烤鸭。我们后面也会给大家推荐更多的好吃的，希望大家继续关注我们。
Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed this video and want more,
First up, Yum Cha. Yum Cha is more than just about the food. It's a social gathering place where family and friends can hang out or catch up over tea and a wide selection of dim sums. Since everything is shared, I like going to Yum Cha in a bigger group because then I can eat a wider variety of dishes. Some of my favourites include Feng Zao, Ao Tou, Fu Pei Gun, Lo Mai Gai, and Chang Fan. Next, street food. Now, Hong Kong has some of the best street food in the world. A good thing is, because the food is on display, even if you don't know what something's called, you can just point to what you want.
I got the curry fish balls. To me, this is the #1 street food that you have to eat here. Located on street corners, like really busy areas with lots of foot traffic. So what usually happens is you order, buy the food, and then you stand to the side and eat your food on the side of the road. It's all part of the charm.
Speaking of street food, who can forget gai dan zai? This is one of my #1 things to get every time I'm back in Hong Kong. So crispy! Whenever we get gai dan zai, my sister always orders gak zai bang too. So if you haven't already tried it, why not give it a go? Number 4, Dai Pai Dong. Dai Pai Dong literally means big licensed stores. These are open-air food stores and there are actually few official ones left in Hong Kong. We went to a famous one in Central called Sing Hung Yun to have their popular tomato soup-based macaroni. Next, Cha Chan Teng. Found everywhere in Hong Kong, Cha Chan Tangs are known for their quick and affordable meals. With so much competition, getting a certain drink or dish right can really help a restaurant to stand out from the rest. For example, take Lang Fang Yun in Central. Lang Fang Yun is famous for their Simat Lai Ta, which translates to stocking milk tea, and it gets its name from the bag they use to make the milk tea because it looks like a stocking. Another popular Cha Chan Teng is the Australia Dairy Company, known for their scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is one of the standard menu items in Cha Chan Tangs, as well as Sai Do Si, Tong Fan, and your standard tea, coffee and yin yang, just to name a few. Congee shops. Congee is a rice porridge that is a popular breakfast option. My go-to congee is Pei Dan Sao Yok Juk. One thing I really like about Pei Dan Sao Yok Juk is the Pei Dan has this really interesting texture. It's kind of like jelly, but it doesn't. I don't know, it's got this really interesting taste to it. I just really like.
Usually, people pair congee with other items such as stir-fry noodles and my sister's favorite, za leung, deep-fried dough stick wrapped in rice noodle roll. Noodle shops. We've come to Onlay at Saogei Wan to have noodles for lunch. At these places you can choose your own toppings and noodles like rice noodle, egg noodle, vermicelli. My personal favorite is to have yudan ho, and specifically the thin type of rice noodle. Another specific combination I like having at noodle stores is alam chow mein, beef brisket with thick noodles, and has to be thick. I love these noodles, they're so good.
There is also Jim Zai Gei in Central. This store has been recommended by the Michelin Guide and is known for the delicious, generously filled wontons. And now, a special one, Tan Zai Fan. Another Hong Kong experience is to get Tan Zai Fan, which is a bowl of noodles from one of these sampans here. They can be a little bit hard to find, but there just happened to be one here along Aberdeen Pier today. These sampans move around a lot, so you never know where they're going to be. My sister and I spent the first years of our childhood in Aberdeen, which is also home to the famous Jumbo Floating Restaurant, and though we've been back many times since, this was our first time having Tan Zai Fan, so it was very exciting. Number 8. Clay pot rice. Though it is eaten all year round, clay pot rice is especially popular during colder seasons. You can choose from a wide variety of toppings such as Chinese sausage, spare ribs and chicken feet, all served on a steaming hot bed of rice. Silap po. Silap po's are a big part of Hong Kong's food culture. Often served with rice at lunch, roast meat is also a popular take-home dinner option as part of the shared dishes, or song as we call it in Cantonese. Next, bakeries. One thing I love is the smell of bakeries. In Hong Kong, there are many bread stores everywhere with a wide selection of breads to choose from. My personal favorites are the Bo Lo Bao, Gai Mei Bao, Chuan Zai Bao, and Sai Bang. They look good and they taste good too. Speaking of baked goods, the iconic egg tart, Dan Tat. There are two main types, the short crust pastry type, like the one sold at Tai Chung Bakery. So Tai Chung is popular and famous for their short crust egg tarts, and they have branches all over Hong Kong, but this one here in Central is the main one. Last but not least, desserts. There is no shortage of yummy desserts to choose from in Hong Kong. Some of my favorites are the typical Hong Kong classics such as Hong Dao Bing, Dao Fu Fa, Ji Ma Wu, Mang Guo Bo Din, and Bu Zai Gou. So, Bu Zai Gou, Ji Ma Gou. This is a pudding with red bean. It's sweet, and I always get the brown one. And this is a black sesame cake. Alright. A thick jelly texture.
We're at Yisun Milk Company in Causeway Bay. So this place is really busy all the time. It's great for desserts, and they're famous for their double skim steamed milk, as well as this is their most famous. And we also got a ginger flavored steamed milk. So we're gonna try that. I got a cold one of the regular steamed milk and a hot one of the ginger steamed milk. Very nice. This is made from milk, sugar, and egg white, I believe. The texture is a little bit like tofu pie, but a little bit firmer.
Saipa and Cologne, as well as Katai, which is a major area developed and reclaimed land between the two islands. Let's take a look at the history of this place. Originally, Macau was a small Chinese village, and it did not develop as a major settlement until the Portuguese arrived in the 16th century. You still see heavy European influence in many ways that you generally don't find anywhere else in Asia, like Portuguese street signs. After the Second World War, refugees from mainland China were fleeing from the Chinese Civil War. And this enabled Macau's economy to grow as the colony expanded its clothing and textiles manufacturing industry. developed tourism, and legalized gambling in 1962. Macau was transferred back to China in 1999 after 442 years of Portuguese rule. As a special administrative region, Macau is going to maintain separate governing and economic systems from that of mainland China until 2049. And you can see that today, all travelers coming to Macau from Hong Kong and mainland China must pass border control just like everybody else. The population of Macau today is 667,000 people. It is one of the most densely populated regions in the world, with a population density of 21,000 people per square kilometer. In Monaco, for instance, it's 18,000 per square kilometer. What about the economy? In the 20th century, the gaming industry here operated under a government-licensed monopoly. But in 2002, the government ended the gambling monopoly, and it allowed bidding for casino licenses to attract foreign investors, and this triggered a period of rapid economic growth. Today, Macau's gross gaming revenue is roughly 3 times that of Las Vegas. For example, in 2018, it was 37 billion for Macau and only 12 billion for Vegas. At present, Macau is the only place to gamble in all of China. In 2016, pot are from mainland China. The casinos stay busy all the time, and they're doing everything to attract tourists to spend money on their premises. Let's take a look at some of them. The Venetian. It's the largest casino in the world. It's a luxury hotel and casino resort owned by the American Las Vegas Sands Company. The hotel uses Venice, Italy, as its design inspiration and features architectural replicas of various Venetian landmarks. You can go riding in a gondola, listening to Venetian songs while going through the canals. Lisboa Casino. It's one of the most popular and oldest ones. Here you can see the exhibits from the private collection of one of the founders of the city's gambling industry and a local celebrity, Stanley Ho. This guy has been given different nicknames like Godfather and King of Gambling because he held the government-granted gambling monopoly for 75 years. Today he owns 19 casinos in Macau. He's 98 years old and he has 17 children. Now, besides Macau, he does business all over Asia, and you'd be surprised. He even has a casino in North Korea. In 2006, the fabulous Wynn Macau Casino was opened. There's a musical fountain show in front of the casino every 15 minutes in the evening. Like I said, the casinos are going out of the way to attract customers. Now, if that wasn't enough to impress you, they're offering a cable car for free. The ride takes about 10 minutes and is totally worth it. Especially at night because you'll be traveling over the fountain show. Guess what? This ride will take you directly to the casino entrance. There are many other casinos in the city, like City of Dreams Casino with its water circus show, the Parisian Casino with its Eiffel Tower, and many others. What is the main difference between Macau and Las Vegas? People go to Las Vegas to have fun, and gambling is optional. Now, people in Macau go mostly to gamble, and the fun part is optional. The people who come to Macau generally have a lot of money, and the minimums are in many instances double or triple that what you find in Vegas. Baccarat and Sigbo are the games of choice here, as they seem to take up the vast majority of the casino space. What's there to do in Macau besides the casinos? Sightseeing, of course. The Senate Square, or the Senado Square, is part of Macau's UNESCO Historic Center. It's generally packed with tourists who come here to admire the famous wave-like mosaic tiled pavement and the colonial facades of the surrounding buildings. Hugging the square, you'll find the Senate building, a former Portuguese government house. Now it's the city administration. This building is the Holy House of Mercy. It's a medical clinic built in 1569, but now it's a museum, and other colonial era buildings. Head deeper and the pathway will take you into commercial chaos, full of shops and street food. If you survive that, you'll be rewarded with a series of churches, including San Domingo's church built in 1587 and overseen by 3 Spanish Dominican priests, and the famous ruins of St. Paul's. This famous facade is all that remains of a 17th century church, which was devastated by a fire in 1835. In its heyday, St. Paul's was considered the Vatican of the Far East. Behind the facade is the Cathedral of the Museum of Religious Art. To the right of St. Paul's, you'll find Monte Forte, or Fortaleza de Monte. Literal meaning is big fortress. It's a 16th century fort, a historical military center of Macau. From here, you get beautiful views of the city, and there are plenty of cannons everywhere. For some strange reason, they didn't want me to film here. Nowadays, it can be sometimes a challenge to find the old Macau under the ever-growing shadow of casinos and hotels that have come to define modern Macau. However, there are still a lot of streets that maintain a real connection to the past. Rua de Felicidade. In Portuguese, it means Street of Happiness. Shedding its past as the heart of the city's red light district, it's now one of the most popular streets for discovering local delicacies and souvenirs. Rua dos Herbanários is another narrow pedestrian street in Portuguese style. Here you'll find traditional Chinese shops, souvenir shops, and small craft beer bars.
Hello.
Dom Pedro Theater, built in 1860, one of the first Western-style theaters in East Asia. The Macau Government Headquarters. It's the official office of the Chief Executive. Built in 1849, the 2-story pink facade structure is one of the historic properties, preserving Portuguese influence in Macau. The modern residential part is full of high-rise buildings standing side by side. Many steep streets just like in Portugal, and balconies with all the bars that look like bird cages. Ni hao! In Ireland, many consider this as a gift for good behavior because there haven't been any anti-government protests like in neighboring Hong Kong. So what do you think about Macau?
杯黑糖 Q 奶。
好。
来后面的来。拿一份鸡排跟全蛋。哎呀，不要加了，不要。
回啦，那个解蜜雪。不用回啦。
3份吧。
啊，好吃啊，白海淋包啊！可以了，可以了。然后再白海淋包啊！啊，好吃啊，白海淋包啊！
大家自己走起来。